Hi, this is For On the Mat. I'm ex-timekeeper Joe Moriello, and we're here at Jimmy Valiant's Boogie Woogie Wrestling Camp here in Shawsville, Virginia. Right with me here is the handsome one, as we know him from Chicago, Handsome Jimmy. And say a few words to all the boys back home and girls.
First of all, Joe, thanks for having me on your special program here. And you know, being raised, you know, in northern Indiana, far north as you can go, Hammond, Indiana, you know, right on Lake Michigan, you know, I could be downtown Loop in Chicago in 30 minutes, man. So wherever I went in the world, they say, where are you from? You know, and I say Chicago, because instead of, you know, going on to Hammond, Indiana, of course, you know, because it was Chicago, you know, we were South Side, man, and although I'm a Hoosier, you know, but hey,
you're one of us. You're one of us. That's right. That's the way it has to be. But I got a couple questions here from the guys and who are from the ChicagoProWrestling.com. Chris and everybody out there, we want to say hi and thank you for allowing us to do this. We're going to have a good time here, hopefully a few questions. We want to hear a few stories that most people want to know, mostly like Mr. Fuji, who's our buddy Al, and Gil, you know Glenn, and a few other people. They wanted some Bob Luce and some Dick the Bruiser stories. If we can come up with one or two, I think we'll make everybody happy.
You bet, you bet. You know, first of all, I'll tell you a couple, but of course, now I'm not plugging nothing, you understand, but no matter where you ask me, you know, it would be in my autobiography. I know right. You have one, Al has one, and you know, half of Chicago has one.
They better.
Hey, if the other half don't know, you know, me and my lovely wife Angel wrote my life story, and it's called "Whoo, Mercy Daddy, Welcome to My World," the Jimmy Valiant story. It's 566 pages.
A lot of books.
It weighs 3 pounds, y'all. You know, and I tell people, hey, buy 2 copies, put one in each hand, and work out with them. You know. But yes, of course, I cover. I don't care if there's anyone that you know you would want a story about that has anything to do with our great profession. You know, in the last 50 years, I got a story about it there. And God bless Dick the Bruiser and Bob Luce, and yeah, I'll give you a little short deal here with them. Of course, Bruiser, man, you know, he's the one that started me, and you know, he was my mentor, and he was the one that sent me on, you know, to up to Detroit, you know, to work with big time wrestling. From there, he sent me to Minneapolis, AWA, you know. From there, he sent me to St. Louis to Sam Mushnick, you know, Kiel Auditorium. So I really owe him a lot. And of course, from there, I went to New York, WWF, and Dick the Bruiser, you know. God bless you, man. You got a special place in my heart for life, you know. Not just because he started me, brother, but, you know, he just meant so much to me. I got so much love for him. But, you know, Joe, anybody, man, any bar in Chicago, man, any bar in Milwaukee or Wisconsin, any bar in Indiana, you know, while you're having, you know, a few, you know, Boilermakers or whatever the boys are doing, the steel mill people, you know, they all got a special place for Dick the Bruiser.
That's right,
you know,
they all do.
They all got a story about him, you know, and my goodness, you know, Luce, and he was way before his time. Bob Luce was person. You know, he had so much charisma, man. He had so much showman. He was a showman, you know, of course, you know, on Channel 44.
Channel 44.
Oh, my goodness, all that Bob Luce, you know, we'd go up there, and me and Pretty Boy Bobby Heenan, and Luscious Johnny, and Ox Baker, and Moose Cholak, and
Pepe Gomez.
Oh, Pepper, God bless, man, all these guys, and they're no longer with us, you know. It's such a shame, and such a, you know, Captain Lou Albano that managed me in New York, he just passed last week, and yeah, man, you know, guys, I'm telling you, if you go in and if you go and see some of these old timers and go up, man, and tell them what you know, what they meant to you, you know, why they're living. Man, and hey, they're just guys, man, you know. Hey, the Baron von Raschke, what a Superman.
Great
Joe,
guy.
You know them, all these guys, you know, but you know, it's take your picture with them, man, and just sit down and talk to them, because they're great guys,
great people,
man, great people, and hey, they're just like you guys, you know, they're out there, you know. Hey, they get up in the morning, they put their shoes on one at a time, tie them up, put their pants on one leg at a time, Joe. Can you imagine that? Huh? Yeah.
You never thought that when you were a kid, though, huh? When you were a fan.
No, never thought it. But hey, you know, they're just dropping like flies, and brother. So if you see someone and you want to meet them, Joe, you know, hey, go do it.
That's why I try to promote the Cauliflower Alley Club out in Vegas every year.
Very good. And, very good organization. Yes.
Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame out in New York, where
yes, in fact,
I have my bell.
You do?
Yeah, my bell's out there now.
In fact, they're bringing me out
oh, very cool.
in 2 weeks, and I'm going to raise money for them. The 14th, they're taking me to their Hall of Fame building.
Very cool.
And
you'll like it.
From 10 to 2, I mean 10 to 12. And this coming weekend, on the 7th, I guess it is, they're having Bill Eadie there. Doing the same thing. So hey, I'm involved with all that. Of course, I'm a lifetime member of the Cauliflower Alley Club, and they honored me there, and I just can't do enough for all of these great organizations.
And I also got to plug the Dan Gable Wrestling Institute and Museum out in Waterloo. Another fabulous place.
Top choice, and
all great stuff.
And you're here at Boogie's Wrestling Camp, Hall of Fame Museum, which we're going to tour. And
this is an awesome place. Yes. We're going to try to get as much in as we can.
Yes,
to show everybody.
And I know
it's just awesome.
You and your lovely wife, Carol, man, she's a beautiful lady,
Thank you.
Chicago lady, man. God bless you, man.
Chicago people.
You bet. Good Chicago people, man, the greatest. And you know, this is something Angel and I give to the wrestling fans, not only in the mid-Atlantic area, you know, Virginia and North Carolina, South Carolina, this whole area here, Tennessee, you know, this whole place, West Virginia, but this is people and fans come from all over the world here. We're only here on Sundays, 52 Sundays a year from 12 noon till 4 p.m. Please come. Be our guest. There's no charge. You can go in any of the buildings, just like Joe and Carol is going to do today. We're going to do the grand tour. You can watch our kids train. That's where you hear the little thunder in the background. They're in there taking bumps in the main camp building now. But hey, we have matches. Everything's free. So I want to, at this time, you know, welcome anybody, and please come be our guest any Sunday, 12 noon to 4 o'clock, no charge. Bring anybody you like. Spend the day with Boogie Woogie Man, Handsome Jimmy, and Angel, and all our great students.
This is an awesome place. Everybody, you gotta make the drive or the fly, either one. Or take a train.
Hey, or
come on down.
Or taxi, man. Hey,
taxi.
Double meter that thing all the way here, man. Anywhere you're at, or rickshaw, or hey, however you get it, run, crawl. Hey, come.
Yeah. Speaking of back in the day of Bob Luce's show, I have to say one of my personal favorites, and I'd love to see it again, was your feud going on with Pepper Gomez at the time. That was one of my favorite things, jumping off the ladder onto his throat when you were supposed to jump onto his stomach.
Cast iron throat. Excuse me, cast iron stomach. That's what he said. Oh, and I missed it.
Yeah, you missed it by
sort of
about a foot or so. I think it was.
Can you imagine that? that dirty dog, that handsome Jimmy. A great story. I was raised right there in Hammond, as I said, and a good friend of mine, and he's from Hammond. In fact, I went to Hammond Tech and played football there at Hammond Tech, and he was a great athlete also, and he used to come to Hammond, and he was younger than me, so he didn't even know I was from Hammond, and he'd come and see his favorite wrestler, Dick the Bruiser and Pepper Gomez, and he would hate this big blonde strutting guy, handsome Jimmy Valiant from New York City, and boy, he'd throw coffee on me, man, and he'd try to, throw stuff at me, coming and going, and he hated me, until someone told him, no, hey, Jimmy, he's from Hammond, man. No, he's not. He's from New York City. No, he's from Hammond, and he went to Hammond Tech, and he said, you're kidding. Oh, my goodness. But the whole deal was, and his name is Tom Martin, and he was a great athlete for Hammond Tech, and he did it all, man. I just played football, but he did track and baseball and basketball. He did it all. He was such a great athlete, Tom was. But the whole thing is, once, of course, he found out where I was, and he came to Hammond Civic Center, and when I was a young kid, Joe, I'd go out there and I'd play basketball, I'd swim at the Civic Center, I'd play, one time I shot at marbles, I didn't even know they were having a Marvel championship, man, and I loved it, I shot marbles in the alleys, man, my whole life, and I went up and entered it, man, because our commissioner guy from the Civic Center says, Jimmy, you like marbles, go up there and enter. And I signed my name, and I won my little age group that day. And it was so cool, and I didn't know what was going on.
Oh,
but all this stuff was happening in Hammond at the Civic Center. And then I had the chance to go, against Dick the Bruiser and Wilbur Snyder and Moose Cholak and Pepper Gomez. What a feud we had together.
It's a great feud.
And sell that place out. That meant more to me than going to Madison Square Garden selling out 22,000 people at that time, or the Cow Palace in Frisco, or going over to Japan and selling out, over Tokyo, at the Dome, and that meant more because that's where I was raised and that's where I went as a young kid. I'd ride my bike and I'd go and do their activities in Hammond Civic Center, and
it's a great building. We've been there ourselves.
Yes,
I've been there a few times. But another thing, question was one of our wrestler friends wanted to know if you could show, we got to figure out how to set this one up, show the stretches that Louis Martinez showed you how to do.
Yes, you bet.
You talk about it in the book.
You bet.
As we've read. And he'd like to see you try or show how to do it because he's one of our local indie wrestlers and he's a very good wrestler, Derek St. Holmes.
You bet.
Okay.
You bet.
And another question before I forget. Pete the Pup, one of our big-time board members or writers on Chicago Pro Wrestling, wants him to have a Vince McMahon Sr. story. He wants to know how you got along with Vince Sr. and did he really like taking care of the boys or was it just a business end for him?
Sure. Joe, first of all, man, the stretching, you can see a dog, you got a dog, everybody's got a dog, man, I love dogs, but you watch them, and especially when they start getting older, but hey, they lay down, and when they get up, the first thing they do, they get up and they put that back quarter up, and they stretch, man, and then they go down the other way and stretch, and hey, it makes sense, and Louis, Martinez, God bless him, man, I love him, he was another mentor of mine, and yes, hey, I get up in the morning, first thing I do, and I get up and I just do some side bends, and then I go and I do crunches. I can sit in a chair. I'm doing them right now. You know what I mean? Just tighten up the abdominals, and you can just. This is just to get the everything flowing and get the endorphins flowing in your body and the energy you receive out of doing this. And then I go to a doorway, man. You don't need weights, and of course I use weights my whole life, and I still do. But you don't need them, And then I take the doorway and I'll just grab it and I'll stretch. And man, right here, I'm stretching the lats, you know,
Mm-hmm.
right here, you know. And then I'll take the countertop and I'll just put my neck back and boom, and get the trapezius, you know, muscles. All you're doing is getting the blood up in that area, Joe. And you can, man, then I'll crank that neck, you know, a few times like this. Go up on your toes, work every little muscle group, and it takes 5 minutes. It takes 5 minutes, man, and I'm ready, brother. I'm ready for my day. I go down, and whatever you do, you know, brush your teeth and comb your hair, man. And
you're loose. You're ready.
Yeah, you're loose as a goose, man. And you're ready to go, man, you know, and get some nutrition in you. And then, but the whole thing is, I do this 5-6 times a day. Every time I get up, if I'm doing something at the desk or something, my office here, I get up, I'll stretch. I do the stretch, you know. So that's, Louis taught me that as a young kid. I've been doing it now. Hey, I'm 67 years old now, brother, and I do it daily. I did it this morning, Joe, before you and Carol came.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I've done it, man. I've already done it, and I'll do it again, you know, a couple of times more today. And of course, and the other, what was that other, did you remember what that other?
Yeah, Pete the Pup wanted to know about Vince Sr.
Yes.
How he treated the boys, and, you know, was he okay?
Okay, brother.
Is he like Vince
brother,
now, or
Vince,
better?
Vince Sr., I worked for Vince. I worked for New York 3 different times, over a year each time. 15 months, roughly, all in the 70s. All for Vince McMahon Sr. WWWF. In fact, me and Johnny, Luscious Johnny, Handsome Jim, we were the world WWWF World Tag Team Champions. Yes, he was like gold. If he told you something, Joe, you take it to the bank, brother. First time I came in, a young kid, man, you know, 1970, 71, he says, Jimmy, he says, you handle yourself professionally. You got over here in New York. I want you back every 4 years. Joe, in 1974, he brought me and Johnny back for over a year. In 1978, he brought me back. He brought me back every 4 years until he passed on. God bless him. He told me at a certain time he was going to switch me, you know, from a good guy to a bad guy and make me big money. He did that. Everything he told me it was gospel. And yes, brother, hey, he was like gold.
Very good.
I got a special place in my heart for Vince McMahon Sr. God bless you, Vince.
There you go. There you go. Very cool. And a few other questions I know we got. People want to know how Luscious Johnny's doing. Have you talked with him recently?
Yeah, I see Johnny, you know, every so often when they bring us up to New York or they bring us somewhere else where they have a legend convention and they put us together, and he's doing great. He's a stand-up comedian. He does movies. He does commercials.
You saw him in The Wrestler. He was in The Wrestler.
Was in The Wrestler.
Yeah.
I had a part in that. We were supposed to be together. I couldn't go. I was already booked in our conflict there, but which is cool. Yeah, he's doing that. That's his thing, man. And God bless. I just did a movie last Tuesday up in Louisville. It's called Ultimate Deathmatch 2. And I played myself. I played Jimmy Valiant, Boogie Woogie, old broke down wrestler, and I was at that time just cleaning up the rings and doing all this, and it was quite an experience, you know. Johnny does a lot of that stuff. Hey, I do some, you know, but that's more his thing. My thing here is something to give back to the wrestling fans, and it's here at BWC, Boogie's Wrestling Camp Hall of Fame Museum. This is my baby. This is my baby. And Angel, my lovely wife, and we're only here 4 hours a week, but man, in 4 hours we jam, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. It's rocking outside. It's really very cool out there. I think this is you know, this is it. This is the place to be.
Hey,
we're going to try to get it on tape to show everybody.
You know, Michael Jackson just, you know, he just named his big movie, This Is It. But this is
This is it, man.
This is it, man.
Sorry I stole it from you.
Yeah. In fact, you know what? I'm going to take you in. I got one of the buildings, and I got big letters, This Is It.
Uh-oh.
And so I was way before Michael Jackson.
That's right, you were.
You know, so this is it.
That's
and
right.
you can see how many years that's been there, probably 20 years, you know, where I'll show you This Is It. But,
very cool.
Yes.
All right, I think that's it for now. We're going to go on a tour in a couple, and we'll take it from there.
Take it from there, baby.
this is like a photo museum. Some of the stuff from many moons, decades of wrestling. From Dick the Bruiser, my favorite, to Steamboat and Flair and Hogan and whatever. Come on in. We're gonna get this, shoot this a little bit. Maybe I can point out some stuff.
A big shout out to On the Mat, Chicago Pro Wrestling from Boogie's Wrestling Camp Boy! Yeah!
Well, let me say a little class is going to return to Bob Loose Wrestling in Chicago because that's what professional wrestling's all about, class. Let me tell you, I got a great film to show you right now, August 16th at the International Amphitheater, when Handsome Johnny and Luscious John met Billy Robinson and Wilbur Snyder. Snyder and Robinson, of course, members of the Hall of Fame, and the Valiant brothers, rough and tough, right out of New York City, where they've had 12 consecutive sellouts at the Madison Square Garden. Let me tell you, they are really tough, and they should be right up on top as far as challengers for the World Tag Team title go. But this night, August 16th, let me tell you, they had a tough time with Robinson and Snyder. And finally, the match was declared a draw. We're going to show you some real action in this one. And let me tell you, I'm going to play this record special before we get into the Al Lerner, and he'll be talking to the Monster and also Handsome Johnny Starr. But let's get down tonight. That's what we're going to call it, get down tonight, because that's what it's all about at the amphitheater. When they get out there, they get right into it. Let's go.
Let's get together, honey, honey, me and you, and do the things, oh, do the things that we like to do, oh, do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight, get down tonight, do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. Get down tonight, baby, baby, I'll meet you, same place, same time, where we can all get together and ease up our mind. Oh, do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight, get down tonight, do a little dance. Make a little love, get down tonight, baby.
Fans, here we are, Al Lerner with Handsome Johnny Starr and Monster O'Connor. First time I've had a chance to talk to Monster O'Connor. We're watching action. The Valiant brothers against Wilbur Snyder and Billy Robinson.
Can I say something, Al? You know, this Snyder's not a bad wrestler. He's a pretty fair country wrestler, but let me say something. You saw on this television show last week, and how that ever escaped out of the control room, I'll never know, but you saw the Monster smash. You know, we heard that song Monster Mash that that idiot Luce was playing. Well, it is appropriate in one way, because we saw the Monster smash Wilbur Snyder right here, right in the middle of the ring on Channel 44, and that's about the most beautiful thing I've seen in ages, Al Lerner.
Monster O'Connor, is Wilbur Snyder the toughest man you've ever wrestled?
Monster don't want to answer. He don't want to answer you, Al, and I don't blame him, because, you know, the
Monster
doesn't
want to answer.
That's exactly what I said, Al. The Monster's a great man. He doesn't have to sit and talk to people like you. He's going to be the next, probably the next greatest wrestler of all time. You know, since I signed on with him, the Monster has really come up. He's gotten sadistic. He's gotten brutal. Only one man has walked away from a match with him in the last year.
Who was that?
That just happened to be Wilbur Snyder because I told the monster.
Say that again. Who was that man that walked away
Yeah, it
from
was
him?
Wilbur Snyder. And I
It was
told
Wilbur Snyder.
You heard what I said, Lerner. And I told Monster, I said, don't kill him. Leave a little for the other people. You know, the Monster and Ox are great friends, and that's one reason he doesn't like you, Al.
Monster, where did you meet Ox?
Hey, the Monster's not talking to you. You might as well forget it. He doesn't have anything to say to you.
This is a pretty big guy, John. I don't think he needs a mouthpiece like you.
Well,
Monster, where'd you meet Ox?
Let me tell you something.
Thank you. He talks.
Johnny Starr is working for me. He does my talking.
That's right.
Does he do your thinking,
you know,
too?
Hey, that's an insult, Al Lerner. I don't appreciate that kind of remark. I want to tell you something. I don't work for Bob Luce. You know what? I work for the Ox. I work for Monster. I make 10% of everything they make.